Have you ever thought that old age would bring peace and leisure, a reward after many years of hard work? But the truth is, many people entering their twilight years find themselves feeling lost, hurt, and at times even hopeless. Life is always fast-paced, and independence is a core value. Many older adults live alone, far from their children, and often feel left behind. They were once teachers, doctors, engineers, people who dedicated their whole lives, but one day they wake up and realize friends have slowly disappeared. Their health is no longer the same, and everything familiar is changing. The truth is, if we don't mentally prepare, if we don't accept the bitter truths of aging, we can easily fall into a spiral of sadness, resentment, and lose the joy of living. And perhaps the saddest part is, many people realize this only when it's too late. That's why this video will share with you 5 truths that are hard to hear, but necessary for you to embrace aging with intention, peace, and greater happiness. Not to make you fearful, but to help you prepare with knowledge and courage. If this topic touches something inside you, please click like, share it with your loved ones, and let's open up meaningful conversations together. I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you find hardest to accept about aging, and how have you overcome it? Now let's uncover the 5 truths we must face, so that old age won't be a burden, but a journey of living fully in every moment. Many people enter old age with the belief that what they've done, what they've contributed, will be remembered forever. But reality tells a different story, and this truth, though harsh, can actually open the door to a new kind of inner freedom. Have you ever asked yourself, if one day you were no longer here, who would remember you? What would they remember? And for how long? A year? A month? Or just fleeting moments in someone's passing memory? The truth is, human memory is shorter than we imagine. The pace of modern life constantly pulls people forward, leaving little room for anyone to live in the past. Whether you were a devoted mother, a model employee, or a loving friend, time will eventually wash it all away. Your grandchildren may love you, but after a few generations, your name, your stories, and your proudest achievements will slowly become unfamiliar. This is not an easy truth to accept, because from a young age, we're taught to leave a legacy, to make an impact, to be remembered. We devote, sacrifice, and strive just to be remembered. But what no one tells you is, you will not be remembered forever. And that does not mean your life was meaningless. Imagine this. If you knew for certain that you would be forgotten, how would you live differently? Perhaps you would stop obsessing over recognition, stop worrying about making an impression, and start savoring each present moment. You would laugh more sincerely, live more slowly, and love the person beside you simply through your presence, not through expectation. Accepting forgetfulness is not surrender. It is liberation. When you no longer strive to be remembered, you begin to live more lightly, more deeply, and more authentically. So what should we do? Start with the little things. Create meaningful moments, not to be retold, but to be fully lived. Spend quality time with loved ones, not with grand words, but with your presence. Capture real emotions. Keep a journal. Record your voice. Take simple, everyday photos. Not to leave for the world, but to leave for yourself, so you know you truly lived. Practice mindfulness. Focus on the now. Feel your breath, the sunlight, the birdsong, the scent of your morning coffee. And finally, forgive yourself for once craving remembrance and praise. It's something all humans long for, but not something we must cling to in order to live happily. When you live fully in each moment, you no longer need a legacy to feel seen. You are the legacy in your smile, your gaze, your calm presence shared with those around you each day. And even if your name is no longer spoken, life will continue, like a river that flows endlessly, and you were once a part of it, wholly and beautifully. And then, as your mind quiets its fear of being forgotten, something else begins to emerge more clearly. Your body, silent companion of your life, is also changing, day by day. There's one thing no one can escape. Your body will change, and not in the ways you might hope. What once felt like simple routines, bending down to tie your shoes, walking around the neighborhood, or enjoying a good night's sleep, can suddenly feel like challenges. Sometimes you wake up with aches you can't explain. Other times you forget why you walked into the kitchen. And then it hits you. Your body no longer listens the way it used to. No one is truly prepared for that feeling. That sense that your longtime companion is slowly betraying you. In today's society, where independence is highly valued, needing help with tasks that once seemed trivial can feel like a loss, a source of shame, even a sign of uselessness. But your body is not to blame. It's simply doing what nature has always intended, and neither are you to blame. You have lived, worked, cared for your family, and sacrificed. The signs of aging, wrinkles, silver hair, aching joints, are proof that you've come a long way and that you are still going. Instead of resenting or denying it, learn to accept and care for your body as you would care for an old friend who's walked with you through every high and low. You don't need to fight time. You just need to adjust to move alongside it, more gently, more appreciatively. That means start moving in ways that suit your body today. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to run marathons. Just take slow walks each morning, stretch before bed, or dance a little when your favorite song comes on. Eat nutritiously, not following trends or extremes, but by truly listening to your body. Eat when you're hungry, rest when you're tired, and sleep deeply as a gift to yourself. Don't forget to schedule regular health checkups, not out of fear, but because you deserve that care. And most importantly, be kind to your body, with your words, with your thoughts. Don't look in the mirror and scold yourself for no longer being who you once were. Look in the mirror and say, "Thank you. Thank you for bringing me this far." Your body is not betraying you. It's simply telling you that it's time to slow down, to nurture more, to love yourself more. You no longer need to prove anything, only to be present and to feel. And when you begin to care for your body the way it has cared for you all these years, you'll see aging is no longer a sign of decline. It's an invitation into a new phase of life, where peace and acceptance bring a beauty that lasts longer than any youth ever could. And in that slower, more mindful journey of self-care, you'll gradually come to realize one more truth. Not everyone will walk this path with you forever. Some people will drift away, some relationships will fade, and that too is a natural part of life. Aging is not only about changes in the body, it's also about changes in relationships. The people who were once deeply connected to you, who seemed like irreplaceable parts of your life, may eventually drift away. Some move to other places, some adopt different lifestyles, and some simply fade from your life without a goodbye. And then you come to realize, no matter how hard you try, you cannot keep everyone around forever. At first, that realization can be heartbreaking. Connections can feel fragile, strained by distance, work, or the differing rhythms of daily life. The feeling of being left behind is not uncommon in older age. You may have once been the center of a circle of friends, a family home, or a workplace team. But when those roles fade, loneliness begins to settle in quietly, during meals, or in the stillness of an afternoon. You've done nothing wrong. Life changes, and so do relationships. What hurts is not that others have moved on, but the expectation that they would always stay the same. Allow yourself to let go. Not to let go of love, but to release the expectation that people will always be there. Some are meant to walk with you for a while, others stay longer. But eventually, everyone has their own path to follow. Letting them go doesn't mean you're not important. It means you love them enough not to hold on too tightly. And when you let go, you create space, not to fill with someone else, but to breathe, to listen, to open your heart. When you stop being haunted by relationships that have faded, you begin to see the value of those who are still here, even if they are few. An old friend who still calls once in a while. A neighbor who gladly helps carry your groceries. A young grandchild who runs up to hug you tightly. Nurture those relationships with sincerity, with time, with simple conversations. Don't wait for a special occasion. Every day is an opportunity to connect. And if you open your heart, you may even welcome new connections, no matter how late in life. A book club, a senior yoga class, a church or local community gathering. The smallest of these can mend the deepest gaps in the heart. Remember, you don't need many people. You just need the right ones, the ones who truly care, who are willing to show up. And sometimes, the person you most need to reconnect with is yourself. When you learn to cherish the relationships that remain and bravely open yourself to new ones, old age is no longer a string of losses. It becomes a journey of rediscovering closeness, compassion, and genuine connection. And then one morning, you look in the mirror and see a face that's no longer the same. The wrinkles, the quieter gaze, the changing hair, all reflect another truth you must learn to embrace. One morning, you look into the mirror and suddenly pause. The person staring back is no longer the version of you from your younger years. The eyes that once sparkled have dimmed just a bit. Wrinkles stretch across your mouth, forehead, and neck. Your hair has turned silver. Your skin no longer firm. And you ask yourself, is this still me? The beauty industry is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and the media relentlessly glorifies youth as the standard, making the feeling of no longer being beautiful enough almost haunting. Aging in popular culture is something to be hidden. People inject, lift, dye, cover up, not for joy, but to prove they are still worth something. But perhaps it's time we change that view. True beauty doesn't lie in taut skin or a slim waistline. Real beauty comes from presence, from a spirit that only time can shape. Someone who has lived, who has loved and lost, who has weathered storms and walked forward with strength, carries a depth of beauty no cosmetic can match. Aging doesn't take your beauty away. It transforms it, from surface sparkle to inner radiance, from youthful defiance to grounded compassion. And once you learn to honor that beauty, you no longer feel the need to get youth back, because you've already lived it. And now you are in a new chapter, a chapter of freedom, maturity, and self-understanding. Start by changing the way you speak about yourself. Don't look into the mirror and say, "I'm old," as if it were a fault. Say instead, "I live in the body of someone who has been through so much." Wear what makes you feel good. Laugh when joy arises, and walk with the confidence that only time can build. Take care of yourself, not to fight age, but to honor your body. Get a haircut, nourish your skin, move your body, eat well. Not to look younger, but because you deserve to be cared for. And don't let the media define you. You don't need to look like someone in a magazine. You are one of a kind. You don't have to resemble your younger self to feel beautiful. It is the markings of time that shape the person you are today. Deeper, warmer, more real. Ask yourself, who inspires you? Is it those who are imperfect but sincere, no longer young but glowing with faith, peace, and wisdom in their eyes? Then know this, you can be that person too, for others, and for yourself. And one day, you'll look back at old photographs and smile. Not out of regret, but because you know you've lived fully through every season of your life, including this one, with all its unique beauty. And then, as you come to accept your changing appearance, you'll meet one final truth, the hardest one, yet perhaps the most awakening. You will lose the ones you love. Perhaps nothing touches the human heart more deeply than loss. When you live long enough, you begin to witness the people you love gradually leave your life. An old friend, a life partner, a familiar neighbor, sometimes even the grandchild you once held in your arms. Loss comes without warning, spares no one, and never gives time to prepare. And then, there you are, sitting in a familiar room, gazing out the window, feeling a kind of emptiness you've never known. No one calls you in the evenings anymore. No one asks, "Are you doing okay today?" Gone are the warm embraces you had once taken for granted, not realizing how lucky you truly were. For older adults living alone, the loneliness after loss becomes even more visible. The funeral ends quickly, and then comes a chilling quiet. Loved ones are busy with their lives, friends are coping with their own grief, and you're left to learn how to keep going, even when your heart is still longing. But here is something important. Grief is natural. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to move on within a set time frame. You have the right to cry, to remember, to remain silent. What's truly frightening is not the loss itself, but what happens after, when you close off your heart, when pain makes you afraid to love again, when you live the rest of your life like a shadow of who you once were. Try something different. Honor them by living. Every time you think of someone you've lost, tell a story about them. Write down a memory. Cook their favorite dish. Play the song that once brought you both joy. And above all, live each day fully, the way you believe they would have wanted you to, because those who are gone no longer have the chance to experience life. But you do. And every time you choose joy, you are continuing their journey in a beautifully meaningful way. Open your heart to new connections. No one will ever replace those you've lost, but every person who enters your life brings a unique gift, a new story, a fresh perspective. Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to lose. The more deeply you love, the more deeply you might hurt, but also the more deeply you truly live. And one day, when your time comes to close your eyes, those who remain will remember you, not for how long you lived, but for how you lived, bravely, kindly, and full of love. They will tell stories about you, and in that way, you will still be here. You cannot avoid loss, but you can choose how to face it, with gratitude, with connection, and with a life that is meaningful every single day. And that is what allows you to enter old age not as an ending, but as a new chapter, awakened, peaceful, and profoundly alive. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this video. Your presence here, listening to these honest reflections on aging, is already a brave and loving act toward yourself. Growing old isn't easy, but you are not alone. Together, we've explored 5 hard truths: that you may be forgotten sooner than you think, that your body will change, that not everyone will stay with you until the end, that your appearance will shift, and that you will have to say goodbye to loved ones. But you've also seen, within each of these truths lies a door to freedom, to acceptance, and to a more meaningful life. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 truths touched you the most? Where are you in your journey of embracing aging? Please share your thoughts, a story, or even a quiet reflection in the comments, because you never know who might find comfort in your words. If you found this video helpful, please click like and share it with those you care about. Someone out there might be in need of a gentle reminder to ease their heart. And if you wish to continue the journey of healing, awakening, and fully living each day of later life, I would be honored to walk beside you in the future. We may not be young anymore, but there is still so much to live, to learn, and to love. Always remember this: you are never too old to begin again, to change, or to live a more meaningful life. No matter what today looks like, tomorrow is always a new chance. And if you're ever looking for a place to return to, not a location, but a feeling, may these shared reflections be part of that home for you.